We'll spend half an hour or so meditating on the body, and on the breath, sorry, and meditation on the sensations of the breath is a balancing act. It's about being present and learning to let go while being present. It's easy to grit your teeth and concentrate, and it's easy to relax and drift off, but not drift off, but not to tense is a balancing act. And we use the different qualities of the in-breath and our focus to find that point of balance. And sometimes we're really fighting it, and other times there's just very, very tiny adjustments, tiny changes in focus, just to keep us on that middle point. So to calm our minds, as it's been a busy day, it's been a hot day, so we can start with a slightly longer breath, just to work down towards that equilibrium point. So we'll spend a few minutes just with a slightly longer breath, focusing on the calming nature of the out-breath. If you're finding that it's hard to concentrate and the mind is somehow agitated and sleepy, we can try arousing concentration by focusing on the in-breath, or maybe we need to follow the whole circle of the breath rather than focusing on one particular side. But as the mind calms down and we find balance, we don't need to hold on so tight. Like when we're riding a bike, when we're inexperienced, we grip the handlebars very tightly and we make very big moves with the handlebars. But as we become more competent, there's less effort remaining straight and upright. And that's where we go with meditation. If we need to make big adjustments, we need to, but we'll find those adjustments are getting subtler and subtler. And then as our movements, as our concentration becomes subtler and subtler, as we let go of controlling how we breathe, we can widen our sense of perception. If we're struggling to concentrate, it's good to focus on a small part of the body, maybe the back of the inside of our nose, maybe the tip of our nose, whatever works for us. But as we slowly move towards observing a natural breath without distraction, there's more concentration, there's more evenness, but there's less effort. Often when we are very concentrated, we can notice that the breath, the pattern of our breathing changes at the same time as a thought or emotion arises in the body. Sometimes the breath changes before we've even thought the thought. If we can notice our breath changing, we can calm thoughts before they even arise. Often when we learn about meditation of the breath, one thing that can be overlooked is how enjoyable it is. How when there's balance in the mind, it's regenerative, it charges our batteries, it gives us energy rather than taking it away, and it's extremely enjoyable and pleasurable to sit just with the breath. And it can be that element of joy and play that we can bring to our meditation. We can follow the breath as it travels around our body. We can note the sensations. We might start with noticing that the out-breath is warmer than the in-breath. We may notice ourselves breathing more through one nostril than the other. We can find out all sorts of things. Become aware of new habits that have always existed, but we never realised we did these things. So it can be very insightful as well. Often things can come up after a period of the mind being quiet, and it was exactly that quiet time that led to that thought or emotion coming up. Often we can think of it as a distraction or somehow a regression, but when the mind is quiet, things come up that didn't previously have the space to. And after that period of thoughts and memories and stuff coming up, there'll be another period of calm. And when we zoom out, we can see this as cyclical. And once we see this these patterns emerge when we're observing the breath, we tend to chase these fleeting sensations less. Those thoughts of the past, those planning the future, we can zoom out, we can see ourselves doing it time and time again, and we see it for what it is, and it no longer holds our interest, and we don't chase it, and then we go through a period of calm again. Sometimes when the mind is racing, the right thing to do is to focus on the out-breath. Sometimes the right thing to do is to briefly open our eyes, adjust ourselves, make sure we're comfortable, close our eyes, count 5 breaths, and then start again. It really depends how much of a correction we need. We don't need to do any more than necessary, because then we'll have to overcorrect in the other direction. So our guide of knowing where the balance is always, are we enjoying ourselves? Are we calm? Are we happy? Are we relaxed? And if we're not calm and happy and relaxed, that's okay. We can identify the emotion that we've got, find out where it is in the breath. Is there tension on the in-breath that we need to focus on letting go of? Is there some sort of level of control on the out-breath that's leading to an irregular, lumpy out-breath? Sometimes taking control of these patterns of the mind and patterns of the breathing, we let go, we consciously let go. We stop trying to breathe, and we find we breathe by ourselves.